Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hi, welcome to a very special episode of 10 at a Time, the tell-all. My name is Wildlin.
My name is Christian Divine.
Yeah. 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 So, Christian, let's start. Whose fault was it?
I'll take the blame for this. I'll take 100% of the blame for this because I saw your video about Jojo's and I felt some type of way. But I want to say ahead of time, I thought I was going to say all anime. I thought it was going to be. I thought like when it was starting, I was like, oh, it's going to be back and forth about like anime and stuff, and it quickly. My fault. My fault.
No. You know what? And I'll say, did you start it? Maybe. Did I take it there? Unnecessarily. I don't even remember what the second video was. I said Christian Divine. I immediately started poking.
Immediately. I was like, oh.
But it's just because you opened up the video and you were like, Woodland's got bad taste, and that's how I heard it in my head. Woodland's got bad taste, that idiot. Don't listen to he says. I said, God damn.
I said don't trust his anime opinions. It was, to be fair, they're taking it like that. And then also, like, in retrospect, I guess we can get to this later, but I finished Korra.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay. Rewind for a second. So, for those who do not know what we're talking about, like a week ago, I posted a video on my TikTok account where I was like, hey, I've started watching the anime Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, which is a very popular anime that I see edits of all the time online. And I started the show, and it was bad. It was not very... Oh, sorry.
No. Finish what you're saying, and I'm going to add up to this.
It was bad.
I need information about Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, so I'm going to go ahead and be vulnerable and ask... When does it get good? Better yet, is it like this forever? I'm like 6 episodes in. Why was there no dialect coach in the session? It's actually very distracting that none of these people can be just American, but are some type of British. That is almost offensive if I cared about British people and their opinions. At this point, I can't tell if it's camp in a way that they really designed and intended, or if it's a show that was just meant for children, and then those children grew up, and now they're adults trying to convince you that Jojo's Bizarre Adventure is a really good show. Kind of like One Piece.
That was ass. It was not very enjoyable to me, personally. It was a weird vibe. It was a bizarre adventure. I will give them that. They were true to their word. The whole thing felt like one big bit in a way that I did not think was funny, but instead strange. There was a shot of like the little boy that they picked up along the way.
I know who you're talking about.
In like the first saga.
Yeah.
They like find a little boy along the way and he just joins their team kind of.
Yes.
And he
like
sneaks
steals
through
from
that
them,
hole.
And then they like run on the water and it's
yeah.
The whole thing. Yeah.
And then there's a close up of his crotch and he pisses himself. And he's like, I'm so scared. The voice acting is bad.
Oh yeah, you're watching the dub too. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm watching the dub too. So anyway, I made this video and along the way I said, is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure enjoyable in a way that One Piece is enjoyable, where you kind of have to start when you're 14 and become indoctrinated into it, or can I start as an adult? This ruffled a lot of feathers, especially because I've already been talking very highly of Avatar Korra in ways that have gotten me a lot of internet flack. Christian jumps into the conversation.
Okay, so here's the thing, to be fair, and I say this in the video, the first part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure isn't good.
Wildlin cannot be trusted when it comes to animated media. I was at a bar with him and another black man in 2021, and we were having a conversation surrounding Hunter x Hunter, right? Which I'll admit, I'm very biased towards. It's in my top 5 for sure. This other guy was talking to me about how the Chimera Ant arc was boring. Something that I was like, that's a wild statement to me. It's a statement I've heard before, but it's a wild statement to me as it's a really great arc. And Wildlin turned around and said, actually, I gave up on Hunter x Hunter during the Phantom Troop arc. The Phantom Troop arc? Brother, you watch Naruto. Not that there's anything wrong with Naruto, but Naruto is peak. I watched this at 14, so no anime can be better. The anime.
When people were trying to get me into JoJo's, it was I remember the dates specifically. It was 2015. And at that point...
And you were 14?
No, I was not 14. I was 20. I think I was like 21, right?
Okay,
so I made it 5 episodes in and was like, man, I'm not watching this. And so then 4 years later, right, they've done because the later parts, like basically the way that JoJo's works is that each part is about a different person. Yes. And so like the first part's literally 9 episodes. And getting through those 9 episodes, I was like, I'm not fucking doing this.
It was hard.
It was tough. And I walked in on my homie who was watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and this was like 2 weeks before I moved to New York. And it was there was like a dude in a hospital and he had like his stand was rapping. I was like, no. I was watching a show about British vampires. How did it get to here? I was like, I'm willing to watch it to see how the show I got becomes the show where this alien turns into a pair of dice. And I was like, I want to know how we get here.
In order to, in his video where Christian is responding to me, in order to double down on the fact that I have bad taste and I'm an idiot, he's like, yeah, Wildlin one time told me that he didn't like Hunter x Hunter. I've never even watched Hunter x Hunter enough to have an opinion on it. I'm not gonna lie to you. So now niggas are lying on me.
That conversation was a long time ago, and maybe parts were. I remember you quit early.
I did quit early.
Is that you quit in like. There's parts where I'm like, yeah, if you quit Hunter x Hunter there, I get it. But I think you didn't quit at the part I was expecting you to.
I quit at Kilo's house.
Yeah.
In season 1.
Damn. Yeah. So even still, like I'm like, damn.
I'm on season 3 now. I'm enjoying myself more.
Yeah.
Is it season 3 or season 2? They're pretty deep into Nen.
Yeah.
Leorio has not appeared one time this whole season.
Leorio.
And I respect that.
Leorio will not really appear for the rest of this show except in bits and pieces.
God bless America.
Christian Divine's online degradation kink is flaring up, so he made a video about me to stir up some drama. I asked my audience a simple question about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a show that I recently started watching, and Christian took that opportunity of me opening up to my audience with a question to answer it condescendingly, to attack my character, and to stick his larger following on a smaller creator. Funny how you have a habit of doing that, Christian. In my video, I asked my audience, when does JoJo's Bizarre Adventure get good? Based on the comment section, it seems pretty clear that the beginning of the show isn't very popular. And instead of just recognizing that I'm having a very common viewing experience, Christian instead goes out of his way to lie. He says that I have bad taste. He lies and accuses me of being a Naruto fan, which is a wild exaggeration of the enthusiasm I feel for that series. Were you twisting my words into a sexist dog whistle for your audience of incels and losers that has 0% overlap with my audience of hot, cool young people that know how to fucking vibe? Do not fuck with me, Christian. I will put a beanie on and kick a stroller in the West Village. They will have you in handcuffs and on the FYP within the hour. I will end you.
Christian, what the audience, if you're watching this, what you have to understand is that this did all escalate into a multi-day feud. I was literally on a road trip to Canada with my sister to go see my cousins in Montreal. And before bed, I'm reading Christian's comment section of the last video he made cooking me. And I write my bars and I deliver it back. And I post it in the morning. I'm in the car making videos. I'm at the house making videos. I'm driving, writing lines for the videos I'm about to make about Christian. At what point did you choose violence?
At what point did I choose violence? I will let you know explicitly when. So the first video you made a response. You were cooking me a little. And I was like, you know what? It still felt, I was like, I'm gonna do something goofy. I'm gonna pretend to be Wildlin, right? So I go.
That was crazy.
This person right here, Wildlin, had the nerve to get online and say that I made a video about his anime takes because I wanted to stir up drama, as if half of my drama isn't because people believe we're the same person. And then he had the gumption to get on here and say that he would go to the West Village and put on a beanie and implicate me in a crime. So let's spin it around for once. Instead of me getting confused for you, let me actually be Wildlin for a second. Sorry, everyone. It's me, Wildlin. I had to go find the perfect outfit in my closet that screamed, wanted to go to the civil rights protest, but was afraid of getting my clothes wet. Now, first, I want to hold space for you guys. My audience, the hot, cool people, my biggest fans. I want to hold a little bit of space for y'all. Today, we're holding space for theater majors who sang at IHOP after their show. Instead of just being honest and admitting the truth, which is, I don't watch anime like that. That's not even my brand. It's not even what I do. I thought to myself, I could win something for once. Honestly, Wildlin, I was trying to figure out how to respond to what you were saying, but I listened to what you said, and you just confirmed all the things I was saying, but insulted me while we were at it.
I wrote jokes of people that are maybe not even be in your fan base. I just thought they were things that would be funny to say.
Yeah.
I'm particularly proud of light-skinned Caribbeans who keep having to tell people they're not biracial. That has nothing to do with you.
And you know what? That's, I might have to cut this. That's such a particular stray. That's such a particular, I said, hey, that has nothing to do with me.
Christian Divine, oh sorry, wait a minute. Christian Divine started this. He made a very uncalled for video trying to diminish me, and now that my response video has ratioed him, he's having a very public temper tantrum. I've linked it down below. In his video, he does a really shitty impression of me, and I would try to do a really shitty impression of him back, except for the fact that I would literally never want to be Christian Divine. You could not pay me enough, and I would never recommend it to anyone. In his video, he tries to call me out for being a theater kid, which is really disingenuous because Christian and I both met doing a theater contract in New York City. One of us was on stage, and one of us was not allowed to come out until the audience was gone. I'll let you guess who was who. I think it's really ironic to get on here and point the theater kid finger when you literally got into a designed costume to impersonate me. And I know that you want that to be about the beef, but I think it's more about the fact that dressed as me is the only time Christian will ever be that nigga. And it is a costume. In his latest video, Christian makes a really funny joke about me holding space for white women, which is funny because the only space being held for white people is his comment section. It looks like an Eminem concert and an anime convention had a scheduling conflict in there. Christian has been seen publicly with more clowns, literal clowns, than any non-white women. The most racially ambiguous women in Christian's life are the ones in circus whiteface.
I can't remember, you made a video, it came back even harder. People were like laughing. People were like, oh, Wildlin really cooking them. And so then I was like, okay, I have to write. And everyone was texting me. When I say everyone, I mean my homie Kendrick and Mo. They were like, you gotta be meaner. And I was like, I don't know, I don't want to be mean. They're like, you can't win, you gotta be meaner. And so then I wrote like the minute long one.
Yeah.
That was like,
I tire of this.
I tire of this. Then the thing, I don't know if you saw this because you were on a road trip. I posted a video afterwards being like, guys, I love Wildlin. I don't want to do this, everybody. And that's when I lost it because everyone's like, J. Cole. And I was like,
oh, because you showed weakness.
I showed weakness. Everybody's like, he's really the J. Cole. And then I just started getting like, I was like, oh,
and
okay.
you said, don't ever call me J. Cole.
Yeah.
Which is a fair reaction.
And that's I think that's the part where I chose. I was like, I can't be the J. Cole of this.
Okay.
Like I could be the Drake. I could be the loser. I can't be the J. Cole.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And that was.
I did see that video.
Yeah.
I saw the video where you were like, guys, Wildlin's a really, he's a great guy. I don't know. I don't remember what exactly you said, but I remember you like were already preemptively like, I might take this video down. And I think I texted you. I said blood in the water.
You did. You did blood in the water.
I said blood in the water.
What was your video?
Mind you, we're texting throughout this entire exchange.
Yeah.
Christian is like, let me know if I cross the boundary here. I'm like, nah, okay, man, I'm down, I'm game.
I just remember when I dropped a think piece on your eccentric features because niggas was cooking my hairline so bad. Wait, I'm sorry, that wasn't me. That was Wildlin. Wildlin, it looks like you shop exclusively from the Jonathan Majors pre-trial collection at JCPenney's. I'll probably make a top 10 Wildlin apologies video and still have footage left over. Every time one of my friends does one of these friendly online beefs with me, I always try to take the high road and compliment them in my videos while making light jokes, and they always try to take the low-hanging fruit. I grow weary of this. The worst thing that anyone could say about me is that I've been associated with more clowns on this app than anyone else, but I'm not talking about the girls in white makeup. I'm talking about the collection of black men with glasses who every bad take then gets put onto me. I've been bearing the weight of your sins with nary a peep. But we could really find out if a bear shits in the woods, if you know what I mean. And one of us was on stage while the other wasn't allowed to come out until the audience was gone. If I remember correctly, you were an understudy. The biggest crowd you performed to was at karaoke night after the show. But you've been doing really well theater-wise. I don't want to diminish from that. Shout out to Tina. That was cool. There's no need for this. I made a silly video about your anime takes, and now I'm being questioned. This doesn't have to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not in my right mind. Do you understand?
What was your response? I can't remember what you said in the one after that.
Christian Divine just made fun of the way that I dress, which is really funny coming from someone who always looks like they just auditioned for a Fat Albert reboot on the CW. If people most often described my style as ironic, I would not become the fashion police. Christian, I don't think you should throw that stone. Yeah, it's very funny. I have bad takes that are floating around the internet out there, and when it's appropriate, I apologize for them, but that's just because I like to own when I'm wrong. Christian doesn't have to own anything because he'll delete any one of his videos at the first sign of trouble. Even in that comment section of his own video, he's threatening to delete it if things go left. He does not stand by anything. The last time Christian did stand by something, people started asking where his parents were. That's just the truth. Most people would think that Christian doesn't have that dog in him. He does have that dog in him. The dog is a Chihuahua. His following is in his comment section, gassing him up for barely 60 seconds worth of clapback material because Christian's entire life is an underdog story, and everybody loves an underdog. I really admire it. Christian is the kind of lifelong underdog that would be really good for parlays if anyone was ever confident enough to bet on him. Christian sincerely thinks the worst thing that anyone could say about him is that he associates with too many fetishized clown girls on the internet, which makes me sad because he deeply underestimates how embarrassing it is to be him. He wants to make fun of the points on my resume as though they're not good enough when the highlight of his career has been Hassan Piker unmuting his microphone. Last time I saw Christian Divine get stopped in the streets by a fan, they asked about you all. We are not the same. I do not get mistaken for Christian Divine. He gets mistaken for me because he is not a character on his own platform. When people look at Christian and see me, it's wishful thinking.
That was honestly some of my best work. I'm not going to lie to you.
Crazy.
But that's crazy that people were like, you have to be meaner, because after you impersonated me, the people on my chat were like, he cooked you. You lost. Even after I responded, they were like, you fucking lost. Yeah. So then you came back again and you were like, I tire of this. And I said, I'm going to have to dig deep as because I'm already down from the second quarter.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I said, it's third quarter, I'm already down. I gotta take the shot.
One of the funniest things is I was looking through the comments on your page.
Yeah.
And people didn't even... I think people keep forgetting how short I am, because you said the thing, you were like, the last time Christian stood by anything, people asked him where his parents were, which is so good. And I was like, damn. And people were like, it's actually about his opinions on... I was like, no.
No,
This is a dig that I got more than the audience, because people don't know. But I was like, damn, like, there's photos of me at your birthday party standing next to Jay.
Yeah.
And the light is like, we don't even need to shine on him. Like
Well,
the flash is like, I can't catch him right now.
Jay
Like,
makes everybody look like that. That
that's
nigga's
true, that's true.
gigantic.
He's huge.
I don't know if you were doing this. There were people pulling up to my comment section who were like, oh yeah, I don't like that guy. I've never liked that guy. And I was like, you're incredibly confused. I do have to block you now. Don't you ever come in here and talk.
I appreciate that, but like, I think that like on my side of it, I didn't have to delete those comments because they didn't appear. The only people who ever expressed hate directly towards you also expressed it towards me.
Nice.
And so like I both got like people.
Which is the way nature is supposed to be.
They were also like,
right.
both y'all are whack. I hate seeing why y'all on my feed. It's like, why are you commenting? But then also the comments that got to me was that they were the people who I'm assuming were like, oh, I've always hated him in your comments, came to my comments, and this particular comment was like, yeah, I guess you gotta insult him physically because you already lost the coon shit. And I was like, I think you made a comment about
Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah, I think that was in the last one.
That was in the last one.
There was one before where you were like, because I had made the joke about white women who write interracial Bridgerton fanfic.
Ooh, yeah.
And then you like came back and they were like, yeah, Chris, he is a coon. And I was like, damn. I was like, shit.
Shout out to our mutuals who were in the chat the whole time.
So many.
Blowing smoke. Y'all are crazy.
Do you know the guy, I can't remember his name, the guy who does videos, he's like, blah 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 had a problem, and he like does the storytelling thing. Yeah, people were like, you gotta cover the Christian Wildlin beef, and I was like, no,
he's but I will say it was a bit disappointing. I'm like, any tea page, any gossip page, maybe they really do think that we're the same. Which to me, I'm like, I get what you mean, but also that's a little racist. Even coming from my mostly black audience, I'm like, nah. But when people were in the comments and they were like, oh yeah, I hated that guy, I was like, I don't think we look alike, but we actually are so similar that if you have found a reason to dislike Christian, it is only a matter of time before you don't fuck with me. Yeah. And let me block you now.
Fair.
Before you turn into an op.
You do have a different audience though. Speaking of comments, like you made that joke. Also another joke that was funny. Like, it looks like a Eminem convention met up with ran into an anime.
Yeah, I had a scheduled conflict.
Yeah. And I was getting comments, and I was getting mad because I was like, I forget what my audience demographics are like sometimes. And people were like, hey, I'm white, and I don't know if I can comment on this. You can't. You can't. You're making me look bad. Am I allowed to laugh at the phenotype joke? Am I allowed to laugh? I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want you here. Like,
I don't like that you said phenotype. These videos are still online as of right now, except for, I think we went 4 videos back to back. The last videos we each posted, I think it got to a point where both of us acknowledged that we'd gone a bit nuclear. Yeah. We pushed the red button. No one needed to push the red button. Yeah, your last one, actually, I was at the Met with my sister and I had just left the Met. My phone was at 2% and you texted me and said, hey dog, sorry in advance. You said something crazy.
I said, well, okay. For preface, you posted yours and I was like, damn, that one really hurt. But I had like a whole day of work. And then you're like, hey, if everything's okay, we could even do like a little rap thing. I want you to know. So like in January when I was going through all my beef, I hit such a state of delusion that I began to believe that Whacked Out Murals by Kendrick Lamar was about me. I was like sitting there, I was like, the love and hate, I'll take it there. I was like sitting there just like all month losing it.
But that's so real, dog.
Right? I was sitting there. Yeah. You want to take it to the internet? I'll take it there. Anyhow, so I was sitting there and I was like in that mindset at that point because people were calling me the J. Cole of the beef. People were saying I need to be meaner. People were DMing me being like, hey, look, you little bitch made right now. I texted you. even God took a day to rest. See you tomorrow. It was Sunday.
No, bro.
And I was...
Listen, when you said, and you get to ask my sister, when you said that, I was like, oh, it's about to get nasty. So I talked, because I just texted you. I said, if we do another round of this, my next round is going to be a freestyle. I'm going to rap. And then you said, even God took a day to rest. And I said, throw that shit away. What's left of the rap I put at the end of the 4th video, it's gone now. But I said, put this away, because I thought that we were going to make it a game. It's clearly not a game anymore. You know how people, like, when they're having manic episodes, get like religious?
Yeah.
Like, if you ever see someone start to post about Jesus very suddenly and very hard on timeline on Main, you're like, oh, I should do a wellness check on them.
Yeah.
You said, even God took a rest, and I said, oh.
I was at work for like 13 hours, and then I got home, and I was like, I'll write something, and I written something, and it wasn't as intense as the thing was, and then this was the thing that killed me, and I'm not trying to, I don't want to beef, naming people. If it's this far into it, hopefully people aren't gonna
clip it.
Was that my girlfriend sent me a screenshot of someone with a blue check mark in your comment section, and I was like, someone with a blue check mark who has me blocked, and I was like,
Yeah.
And so then I need you to know that this is what happened. That night, didn't sleep. I was like trying to play video games, and I was writing joke after joke after joke, and then I was like adding layers, and I was like, needs less space, needs more space. Originally, like I was tweaking out.
You're like the Golden Globes writers' room. You're like doing drafts of one-liners.
Drafts.
That's
All right,
crazy.
it was a joke, and I had my most hateful friend DM me jokes about you. I used none of them, but I just needed to be in the spirit. I was like, you knowing nothing about this man, what can you come up with? And I didn't use any of them, but I needed the energy.
Can I see it later?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And then I sat there and I wrote it all out, and I rewrote it, and I wrote it all out, and I rewrote it. And originally I was like, I needed to be 7 minutes long. I was like, don't do that.
Okay.
I was like tweaking out, right? I was timing it because you had said like he could give you 60 seconds of reads. I was like, all right, 7 minutes, and it ended up being like 3 minutes. I think.
Which is bullshit because I am just long-winded in general. But I'm like in a way you could be like, oh, he read you efficiently. You know what I mean? He kept it 60 seconds under. Me, I'm like 2.5 minutes to make 3 points. Anyway,
so
go
then
ahead.
I get a few hours of sleep. I wake up, I record it, I post it, and I'm like, oh, nigga, what's wrong with me? Like, I snapped out of it immediately, and I sent you the text. I posted it, I watched it back, and I was like, there's like, the music is like crazy.
The music was crazy.
The vibes are nuts. I'm like, the only thing I've got to lose is time. And I'm like, oh man. And I was like, I don't feel any of it. And I was like, immediately, once all the energy, and everybody was like, wow, Christian, is Wildlin your friend? And I was like, oh, what have I done? Those are like the first comments. And I like texted you. I was like, hey man, I love you. I love your content, dude. I was watching through it, man. Above the bare minimum, I just planned a date around that. Like,
that's so funny.
Love you, and let me know how's it going. And that's what I texted you when you were at the Met.
So I leave the Met. I'm walking down the steps with my sister. My phone's at like 2%. You text me that, and I say, oh, this is bad. So I go, the last life of my battery. I watch the video, and I shit you not even like I was like heartbroken, but unconscious, like I start to tear up because I'm like, oh, I think it's because I didn't blink for like the whole 2-minute span of the video or something. Like my eyes start to water. I'm like, I can't believe he did this to me. I'm on the train standing up, like rocking my feet back and forth. I'm like, oh, and I'm gonna say this shit. Oh, and I got his ass too. Oh, and I remember that he had that arc about his dad. I went home. I'm pacing the train. I like made a draft. I made a second draft maybe. And then I got on FaceTime with the people and I said, guys, if I post this, will I win? They were like, how much does winning mean to you? They didn't even answer the question. They were like, how much does winning mean to you? And actually at that point, I was like, it's sunken cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At that point, it was so bad that I was like, winning is the only thing that I could even get out of this at this point because the rest is soiled.
Yeah.
We've, mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
We've done irreparable damage to our both of our reputations.
I was texting my girlfriend being like, was like, I have to win. Because winning is like the key. I was like, I gotta win. And she was like, there's no winning. You guys are friends. And I was like, no, you don't understand.
No.
There's winning. There's winning. And I was like, I gotta win. After like I texted you and you were like, you sent that voice message. I was like, I know how Truman felt. Like I know how it feels to know that like we are one press away from it all being gone.
I'll tell you what your greatest hits were, and you can tell me.
Okay.
Jonathan Majors.
Okay.
Crazy bar.
Okay.
Crazy bar. When you said, listen, because dude, you know that sensitive to me. Man.
I'm sorry.
You know that about the bear is sensitive to me.
My bad.
And when you said, when he takes his glasses off and looks into the camera and apologizes to his female audience the next time, y'all know, or whatever the you said, I was like, I don't even take my glasses off when I do it. I was like, that's not even true. When you said, and the next time that mask slips, that hurt me so bad, bro.
I'm so sorry.
It was actually strategically
Yeah.
incredibly well done. Incredibly respectable. When you said I had the phenotype of a deacon, because really I was like, no, well, you know what? It's one thing to be disrespectful, and that's the thing. I was like, I think I can be very disrespectful. Yeah. That's fine. That nigga's getting creative. That nigga's getting creative. He's doing arts and crafts over there. And I'm going to war. Oh my God.
I think everything that was taunting me was the audience calling me weak. I think out of the things that you said that really like got to me.
Yeah.
Most definitely the peak of his career is Hassan unmuting his mic. Because if you watch that stream, the first like hour is me just silently next to Hassan, and he's like rambling, and he's like, and then people are like, let people in the comments were like, let Christian talk. He's like, I'm talking about Israel right now, and you want me? And I was just like, y'all making it hot. And I was like, this is an opportunity for me. And I was like sitting there. The white gentrifier, you let dog walk you.
Oh, dude, I'm so
no, it's
sorry.
fine. It's fine, but
it was unfair.
No, I was like, because after I posted my nuke, I was like, dude, I have so many vulnerabilities that Wildlin knows about. Like, there's so much shit that's like you know about that the audience only vaguely knows about. Like, they know about it in theory, but not like I was like, damn, like, yeah, I didn't get that apartment. That was a nice apartment. Like, shit had a patio. Like, every once in a while, I'll see our mutual friends at a party there. I'm like, damn, it's a nice apartment. Like,
damn.
Shit. I think something that I don't know if you realize got to me is that you were talking about your brand deals and being a provider, which like the brand deal shit that I brought up was most definitely. I think there's a little. Look, there was once a comment after my breakup that I got that someone commented like, Christian, you just don't understand. These men hate you because you're famously short and broke and the ladies still like you. I was like, famously short and broke? I was like, and I guess those are two things.
And I'm sure that person like felt really good about that after. They were like, well done.
Yeah. They're like, you don't get it. You're getting all these women and you're broke and you're short as
tough.
Like, you're lucky you're you, because in every other situation, you are disgusting. And I was like, damn. I was like, okay. So then, like, I think that, like, there's a part of me, right, that is very, like, there's the moral part of me that's like, I don't want to take brand deals. I just got an email from, it's one of the agencies that, like, on their sponsor list, it's like, we do Amazon, the White House, Sabra. I was like, oh, I don't want to. Yeah. I was like, it's like, but I'm short and broke. It's like these are, and like, this is, we're gonna get deep for a second.
Okay.
We're gonna get deep for a second. You're talking about being a provider and like your family and being able to go on road trips and stuff. And I just got back from Louisiana, and like my mom had been showing me like where like certain members of my family have been like investing in my like home neighborhood, like the Cooper Road Shreveport, which used to be this like incredible historically black neighborhood that's been run down since like the 80s. And my grandmother's name is on stuff, and I was like, damn, like I'm the only one really not like participating in this reestablishment of my community. And I was talking to my girlfriend, I was like, I really gotta like get back to, I gotta like really do this content creator shit for real. And I came at you, was like, you and your money. And then you were like, yo. So that one was like, damn. Yeah. I was like I think there were things that I was expecting you to say, And it was the things that I like, because I was like, okay, I know my weaknesses, that this, and that. I was like, oh, fuck, like, this is a weakness I don't even think Wildlin was aware of. Like, I was like, damn.
No, it honestly, and now when I was like, not even so much a dig at you, I was like, I need to start building my walls. I'm like, preemptively, if this goes on, I need to like reestablish my own credibility. Go ahead.
And in part, like, two things that were also crazy was genuinely Fat Albert reboot on the CW was like, oh my God. Because the outfit in particular.
I thought it was fly. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not. That's what's crazy is because I did have to say that. And it got to a point where I was like, I'm lying because I would wear that.
Yeah. Oh God. And then when you were like, when people saw you, I've only seen you get recognized for Yuval. The day afterwards, I was hanging out with Yuval and we were walking, and there's a kid walked up and asked for a photo with Yuval, and I was like, oh damn. I was like, damn.
The day after I said that?
After you said that.
Oh, God.
So that was like before I posted my next one, and after you said that, it was like the things fueling the race that were happening. Like, it was like real life was coinciding too much. I was like, nah.
No. Well, you actually don't understand. I don't even want to say this on the internet because I don't want to give these niggas gas, but my forehead is large, and I think about it often.
Your forehead... I want to say something honest and truthful, but I don't feel like it's going to be helpful.
Go on.
It's the camera. Your forehead's not that big.
Oh, it's the camera?
Yeah.
The camera makes my forehead. Yeah.
I shit you not. Like, specifically when you get braids.
I appreciate it.
And it's the camera. Now, I did draw in on that because I knew it was.
You knew that shit would hurt me so fucking bad. Anytime somebody disagrees with something I say, the first thing they cut at is that goddamn voice. Oh. And I said, here we go. He knows my kryptonite. That angle was crazy too. I said, you watched the video and you screenshot
I waited till it looked bad, bro. Like, I had to wait. I was like, no. And I got it. And I had to screenshot it at the worst moment, which was like...
Yeah, and when you said I could make a top 10 video of Wildlin apologies and still have footage left over. Bad.
Sorry.
Mind you, I don't even know how many apologies actually exist out there. There's probably like 2 or 3.
There's probably 2, but if I think I originally wrote top 5, and I was like, that doesn't sound crazy enough.
That doesn't sound crazy. Top 10. If you could watch Mojo My Apologies is crazy.
I searched your name to see, and I found your biggest hater, and I was like, I blocked
She's there.
her. I blocked her, but I was like,
sorry, they're there.
Oh yeah, I blocked them, and I was like, yeah, but they exist. And I was like looking through that, I was like, okay, these are the things.
Yeah.
And I was like losing it.
And I'll say my biggest hater, I am able to be like, that person is I'll say a strange person, if not a loser.
Yeah.
But the things that they have said about me are still hurtful. While it was like incredibly, I don't know, would you say violent? Is that an appropriate word? Yeah. It was really dark and like whatever, but also I was like, I am engaging in this with someone that I ultimately do trust and who is my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is like, to do this satirically or like, you know, to do this satirically with someone who I already have a pre-existing relationship with, that like at the end of this, I'm like, me and Christian are going to go get, you know, lunch or dinner or something. It doesn't we're going to get a drink. I'll see him at a party. I was like, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but also I was like, how do I say? There was something like a bit cathartic in it.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, so with being on the internet and like having been in a bunch of like, quote, real beefs, it's like, there's a part of it where you know that like, if I did this to just like someone, people be like, wow, Christian, like, you really problematic. Christian is actually, and there'd be like 50 think pieces. Yeah. But I think there's like, at least everyone gets to like participate in a way that feels like less actually awful for my like self-esteem.
It kind of felt cathartic in that it was like all of the pent up like kinetic force of like, you know, I'm sure you do it. You get tagged in things almost every day of people saying something, which also like, stop tagging me in things of people saying wicked things about me.
Why do this?
Why would you do that?
Why would I want to see this?
I don't want to see that. I was having a great day before this.
Yeah.
You know, and being like, I have to bide my tongue and I can't whatever, and I can go to this person's page, and especially now when, you know, they tried to weaponize the size of your audience against you like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So in a way, I was like, me and Christian are like of equal size. We literally are like very similar.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, I really can't be like, oh, you Donald Glover ass.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I am, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so sorry. I know that hurts more
It's
for
fine.
you
It's
than
fine.
it
It's
does for
fine. It's
me.
fine. Yeah.
You know, when people are like, oh, you remind me of Chidi from The Good Place, I can't make a joke about that at your expense because it would also be at my expense. And in that way, I'm like, oh, this is fun and kind of ridiculous anyway.
There was the comment that was like, why is what it was like Louisiana Donald Glover is fighting
With Yuppie Donald Glover?
Donald Glover. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a good comment.
That was a good comment.
Someone said, can y'all two fuse back together now? I said, that's good.
Fair enough.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, I had a blast.
It was fun. It was wild. It was.
Hey.
I was scared, but it was cool.
Okay.
Every time I drop one of those videos, I was like, "Damn, there's so much to say about me." I was like,
Yeah.
damn."
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you. I don't know why I was so gobsmacked that you mentioned the bear of it all, because
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, that is the elephant, that's the bear in the room.
Yeah.
That is the elephant in the room. There's nowhere else to go. You got a lot of shit. You got a lot of shit in that footprint, my friend.
A lot of shit. It's a big digital footprint.
You got a lot of shit in that footprint. I guess I have a lot of shit in the footprint too. My shit is cringe. But anyway, we gotta go, y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. If you're watching on TikTok or if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know. Christian's not getting a cut either way. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.